Mason Carter was used to quiet evenings. The sound of tools clinking in the garage, the low music on the radio, and the gentle hum of engines were normal for him. Life had taught him not to expect surprises. He was a single dad working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on and care for his daughter, Lily, who was the center of his world. Mason had no time for fancy dinners or grand dreams. His days were full and his nights were simple. That evening started like many others. Mason was working his second job at a small family-run bistro just outside of town. He wore a plain shirt, clean apron, and a tired smile. The restaurant was small but warm, with dim lights and quiet chatter. Mason moved from table to table, serving food and making sure customers were comfortable. He didn't speak much, but people liked him. There was something calm and honest about him. At one of the corner tables sat a woman named Clara. She had long dark hair, clear eyes, and carried herself with quiet grace. She looked out of place among the wooden chairs and simple plates. Her clothes were nice, her watch expensive, but she didn't act proud or cold. She was on a blind date, and it was not going well. The man across from her was loud and full of himself. He bragged about money, cars, and people he knew. He laughed too loud and asked rude questions. Clara tried to stay polite, nodding and smiling, but inside, she felt tired and annoyed. She had hoped for a normal evening, but this was just another reminder of the fake world she wanted to escape. Mason noticed the woman's discomfort. He didn't know her name or her story, but he could see she wasn't enjoying the date. When he came to refill their water, the man snapped his fingers at him and spoke with no respect. Mason stayed calm, gave a small nod, and walked away. But he kept watching from a distance. A few minutes later, Clara stood up. She thanked the man for the evening and said she had to leave early. The man rolled his eyes and made a rude comment, saying she was just another rich girl who couldn't handle a real man. Clara's face stayed still, but her eyes showed pain. Before she could walk out alone, Mason stepped forward. He spoke gently and asked if she was okay. Clara looked surprised, but nodded. He offered to walk her to her car, just to make sure she felt safe. She hesitated, then agreed. Outside, the night air was cool. The parking lot was quiet. Mason didn't ask questions or try to impress her. He just walked beside her. When they reached her car, she turned to him. "Thank you," she said. Mason gave a small smile. People deserve better than that. Clara looked at him for a moment. "Would you like to get a coffee sometime?" Mason shook his head kindly. "I would, but I have to get home to my daughter. She waits for me." Clara was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. A real one, soft and full of something she had not felt in a long time. "She's lucky to have you," Mason nodded. "I'm the lucky one." He turned and walked back toward the restaurant, never asking her name or offering his. Clara watched him go, her heart feeling strange. She had met many men in her life. Rich ones, powerful ones, charming ones, but none like him. She sat in her car for a long time. She thought about his hands, marked by work, his voice steady and calm, his eyes tired but kind. He had no idea who she was. That she owned companies, lived in a high-rise, and had more money than most people dreamed of. And she liked that. For once, someone saw her without all the noise. Clara decided to stay in town a little longer. Just a few more days. She told herself it was for rest, maybe some peace. But deep down, she knew it was something else. She wanted to know more about the man who walked her out of a bad date and asked for her. Nothing in return, Clara sat in her small rented house. Looking at the quiet town through the window, it was peaceful outside, but her heart was not. She had spent many days with Mason and his daughter Lily. Each day brought her closer to them. She helped cook dinner, went with them to the market, and read bedtime stories to Lily. The little girl started calling her friend Clara. It felt like a dream Clara never wanted to end. But the truth she kept inside was starting to grow heavy. She was not just a visitor passing through town. She was one of the richest women in the country. She ran companies, owned buildings, and appeared in magazines. She had lived her whole life surrounded by people who wanted something from her. That was why she came here. To hide for a little while? To breathe. But she had not expected to meet someone like Mason. Mason was simple, kind, and honest. He never asked questions about her past. He never looked at her like a prize. He treated her with respect and care. She saw the way he worked hard every day, taking care of Lily and still finding time to help others. He had nothing extra, but he gave more than anyone she knew. She had grown to admire him. Then she began to care for him deeply. One evening, after dinner, they sat on the porch. Lily had gone to bed, and the stars filled the sky. Mason looked at Clara. He smiled, but there was a question in his eyes. "You're quiet tonight," he said. Clara nodded. "There's something I need to tell you." He waited, silent. Before she could speak, her phone buzzed. She looked at the screen. It was her assistant calling again. She had ignored 10 calls already that week. This time, Mason saw the name on the screen. His eyes changed. "Clara Morgan," he read out loud. "Is that your full name?" Clara nodded slowly. Mason stared at her. "The one from the news?" "Yes," she said. He stood up and stepped away. His face showed surprise, hurt, and anger all at once. "You're the billionaire," he said. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I wanted to," she said. "But I was afraid. I didn't want you to see me differently. I just wanted to feel normal. I didn't come here looking for anything. Then I met you and Lily. It became real." Mason shook his head. "This was never real. You lied." "I didn't lie about my feelings," Clara said. "I didn't use you. I care about you. About Lily. Everything I said and did was true." Mason looked away. "You should go." Clara felt her heart break, but she didn't argue. She walked to her car, got in, and drove away without looking back. That night, Mason sat alone in the quiet house. Lily came out of her room, holding her stuffed bear. "Where's Clara?" she asked. Mason took a deep breath. "She went home. Is she coming back?" Lily asked. "I don't know," Mason said. Lily hugged her bear tighter and walked back to her room. Mason sat there, holding a letter that Clara had left on the table before she left. He opened it and read Dot in the letter. Clara wrote that meeting Mason and Lily was the best part of her life. She wrote that she had lived with everything money could buy, but had never felt truly seen or loved. She wrote that she was sorry for not telling the truth and that she would never forget them. Mason read the letter again the next morning. He folded it and put it in his coat pocket. For the next few days, he tried to keep life normal. He went to work, helped Lily with her schoolwork, and cleaned the house. But it felt different. Clara's voice was gone, her laughter, her soft care. Lily asked about her every night. One morning, Mason looked at the letter again. He thought about what Clara had said. She had come into their lives gently, not with gifts or power, but with kindness. She had never tried to impress him. She had helped Lily with her reading, made dinner when he was tired, and listened when he needed someone to talk to. He finally realized she had not come to show off her money. She had come to find peace, and she had found it with them. Mason made a decision. He packed a small bag, helped Lily get dressed, and drove to the city. It was noisy and full of traffic. Mason did not like cities, but he knew where he needed to go. He had seen the charity name on the letter. Clara had written that she would be helping single parents through a new program. He searched the address and found the building inside. People wore nice clothes. There was music and light. Mason felt out of place in his simple shirt, but he held Lily's hand and kept walking. He asked a woman near the entrance where Clara was. The woman pointed to the front of the room. Clara was standing on a stage speaking to the crowd. She was talking about love, about how people need support, and how one kind act can change a life. She was calm and strong. Mason listened. Then she looked into the crowd and saw him. Their eyes met. Clara stopped speaking for a moment. The room was still. Then she smiled. After the speech, she walked toward him. Mason met her halfway. "You came," she said. "I read your letter," Mason said. "You were right. I was scared." but I don't want to lose something that felt real. Lily misses you, and so do I. Clara looked down, trying not to cry. You don't have to be anyone else, he said. You were enough before I knew anything. I just wanted to be loved for who I am, Clara said. You are, Mason said. Lily reached out and hugged her. Clara held her close. Mason looked at Clara and gave a small smile. Ready to come home? She nodded, and in that moment they knew they had found something rare. Something honest. Not built on wealth or names, but built on trust, hope, and second chances.